Pallinghurst Resources is next. This one is a specialist natural resources investment vehicle. It was brought into being by Arne Fransen and a guy called Brian Gilbertson, who older investors will remember, CEO of BHP Billiton once in the day. It's also got a 20% holding from no other than Christo Wiese, so that raises a bit of an eyebrow. He's certainly a successful South African investor. The actual entity, though, owns stakes in Gemfields, which is a gemstone production asset. It owns the Faberge brand, believe it or not, which are those Russian eggs, you know, jewelry type things, and then a bunch of other platinum and other mineral assets. Unfortunately, of course, the mining industry has been clobbered left, right, and center. So its market capitalization has sort of bobbled along. 2.47 billion rand is the most recent number. Not currently profitable, in fact, sustaining heavy losses due to write-downs of its investments and definitely not paying dividends. So a bit of a checkered story, this one. It's been on the market about 6 or 7 years.
Yes,
maybe more.
so initially, that's right, it had a 10-year sort of time frame. So it's coming to the end of that, listed in 08. So, and I guess really, natural resources play those three platforms that you mentioned. Gemstones, then Gemfields, doing a lot better than the others.
That's a listed entity, right? They've got a stake in something listed in London, I think.
That's right, yeah. So, and that actually has been performing quite nicely. I guess it's very dependent on their mining operations and you know, whether they find big diamonds or not, which they have been doing.
Tanzanites and other green things.
Yes, other coloured gemstones as well, and the underlying platinum operations look like they're doing okay, but obviously the platinum sector difficulty.
Is it an actual operating mine, or is it something that's sort of in development?
No, it started to produce, as I understand. So it's ramping up its production, and then some manganese assets as well. But really, I guess, been knocked by the decline in the resources sector, and you've seen the share price come off.
Well, let's look at the share chart, because that's a 5-year chart, but rather spotty. Up, down, left, right, and I remember it was trading at one point around 12 or 10 rands a share, so it's at basically sort of 3 now. But what is to be done? Trading out, update out yesterday, obviously taking write-downs in an environment like this, not necessarily to be not surprising, right? Because you've got to mark to market. But one of the problems is that the management team take fees on the NAV or any gains on the NAV, but they themselves determine what the asset values of a lot of their unlisted stuff is. So it's a bit of a concern that there could be a conflict of interest there. Yes,
and that would leave investors uncomfortable. You know, you really have to sort of back the management team and the underlying assets. I don't see the resource sector sort of coming out of its slump anytime soon. There's no real catalyst for it. So it's probably just going to move along. I guess as it gets closer to that 10-year deadline, would be interesting to see what sort of actions it's going to take.
Roll it over and keep going, or
probably, because I think the assets are still very much in development. Some of them, as we've been mentioning. So, and the cycles, it's not a great point.
So, notwithstanding the hype and the hoopla back when it was listed, looks like an avoid, not hot. No go.